This episode is brought to you by Modern Goaltending. Modern Goaltending is hosting 2 camps this summer. Our first camp will be hosted in Alabama at the Pelham Civic Complex in Pelham from July 16th to 19th. And our second camp will be hosted in Florida at the Community First Igloo in Jacksonville from August 2nd to the 4th. Both camps include professional goalie and shooter coaches, as well as off-ice performance testing and training. Our camps serve dietitian-approved meals, while also hosting multiple classroom sessions hosted by our dietitian, life coach, and video coach. The goal of our camps is to better each individual athlete by giving them new on-ice tools to work on and improve their game. Off-ice, our classroom, workouts, and testing sessions are designed to provide athletes with insight and information on what they need to work on moving forward in their hockey careers, while also giving them a glimpse into what it's like to be a professional athlete. To sign up for one or both of our Modern Goaltending camps, please visit moderngoaltending.com/camps. Link in the description. This is kind of the intro. I think intros make sense when you're introducing a guest. But like it's going to be really hard for us to do intros when we see each other for 18 hours of the day.
Yeah, it's not right.
I can't even ask you, hey man, how are you? What are you doing? Like, what's up? I can't ask you that because I know exactly.
You already know.
Yeah.
You already asked that 5 hours ago.
Right. I already don't like this setup.
Well, we're rolling with it.
Yeah, we're going to go with it.
Too bad.
All right, man. Well, first off,
Let's get right into this thing.
I feel like disclaimer, I don't know if that's the proper verbiage or whatever, but you're sick.
Yeah, I've been battling it.
So usually we've been releasing our podcasts on Wednesdays, but Hayden, actually, let me start by saying this, and I've said this to multiple people already, and I think you'll like that I'm saying this on the podcast.
All right.
Because as soon as we say that you're sick and that's why we didn't release a podcast yesterday, I need people to know what I know about you.
Okay.
I've seen you sick. Well, you corrected me. I said 2 times. You said there's been 3 times that I've seen you take a sick day.
Yeah. During hockey season, yeah.
I don't remember the one you reminded me of yesterday, so I'm not even going to mention that. So I'm just going to say there's only been one other time that I can recall.
Okay.
The only other day I've ever seen you take a sick day was right before, day of game 1 of round 2 against Huntsville.
Yeah,
2
last
seasons ago.
Playoffs. Yeah, 2 seasons ago, I guess.
In the playoffs.
2023 playoffs.
And literally, you were projectile vomiting in your car on the way to the game, still got into your undergear, continued to vomit in our trainer's room, still were like trying to tape your stick and like get yourself ready to rock and whatever. By this point,
I was telling you I might not be able to play.
Right. Yeah. Keyword might. You're like, I might not be able to play. But hang on, there's more to it. So much so that you're literally, this is like 30 minutes of you like puking and like barely being able to hold your head up. Everyone's looking at you like, yeah, you're
It was
not playing.
basically nonstop.
Then I'm like 20 minutes into my like starter routine.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm playing.
You had an idea.
Yeah. And you come up to me in the hallway and you're leaning on your knees. You're like, Lotzi, I don't think I can play. I'm like, no shits, dude. Like, I knew that 20 minutes ago, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you continued then you went in the shower and threw up more and blah, blah, blah. Anyways.
I limped home.
Yes. That was the first day I seen you take a sick day. You literally had to be projectile vomiting and you were still trying to battle through.
Yeah, that's how we are. I want to do everything we could to play.
Right.
But that's something like that is just so out of your control that like if you don't feel well, you can take like pain medicine or something, and you it's a little bit more controllable. But something like that, there's just no way.
Right. So reason why I bring all this up is because yesterday morning when I wake up to a text you at 5:00 in the morning, which means you text me before that.
Yep.
Saying that you think you're too sick to go to work today and go to workout or whatever you said.
Yeah.
Not once did it cross my mind thinking, oh, he's soft, because it's been in 5 years. I could only recall one other time you ever took a sick day.
Yeah. And that was it.
And that was
then yesterday I wasn't feeling the best either.
Right. So anyways, the reason why we didn't release our podcast yesterday is because Hayden was sick. And here we are today where he's still sick, and I'm probably now going to get sick, but it's worth it to get the podcast rolling.
Yeah, slightly better than yesterday.
Which is good.
So just keep getting a little better each day. That's the name of the game, right?
100%. All right. Okay, with all that being said, I think we should start the podcast off with answering a few questions.
Yeah, that's going to have to be it.
From people who, believe it or not, actually have been listening.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, but we appreciate you guys. All right, first question's coming in from Garrett Clemens. This was actually during a private lesson that I did with Garrett on Friday. He wants us to go through the pros and cons of different breaks of gloves.
Yeah.
Specifically, a 580 versus 600.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, the break of a glove is the angle at which the pocket sits when it's on your hand.
Right. Should I grab that Bauer glove? Well, actually, both people are listening, but...
Well, yeah, but just explain. So when your hand is sideways like this, a 600 is basically sideways with it, right?
Right.
Horizontal.
Yep.
A 590 is a little bit more angled, and then a 600 is like straight up. It's like perpendicular to your hand.
So would this be a 90?
No, sorry. Yeah, the 580 is like straight up.
Would this be a 90-degree angle, and this a 45?
Yeah.
And this would be a...
At that point, a 0. My math is correct.
Like a minus.
That's not an angle. It's just a 0.
All right. So I think let's just start this off. Let's try and make this simple.
Okay.
But the reason why Garrett wanted me to explain this to people is because when I explained it to him during our private, because for the record, he switched from a 600 to a 580.
And he said he loved it. That's what he's been telling me.
But he was letting in goals above his pad.
Okay.
And he was getting frustrated. Extremely frustrated. Extremely.
During your lesson? Or in general?
During the lesson.
Okay.
During the lesson. I was beating him just above the pad. Low glove.
Okay, yep.
So anyways,
shot.
I explained to him what I'm about to explain to the people who are listening to the podcast right now.
Okay.
If you have a 580-degree glove, the biggest pro, in my opinion, is that it makes it easier to catch pucks going towards your left shoulder or neck,
right off your left shoulder.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the bend of your arm, basically.
Right.
Okay.
So the 580 glove is going to close towards your forearm.
Yeah.
As opposed to closing out away from your body like a 600.
Yeah.
Now the benefit to that is if you can imagine a shot is coming towards your body, and I'm going to show this for the camera for those that are watching, the glove is going to close this way. Therefore, if a puck is
towards
going
his shoulder,
towards my shoulder, therefore if a puck is going there, I'm going to have a better chance of snagging that puck because the pocket of my glove is just naturally going to fold towards my shoulder, as opposed to away from my shoulder.
Right.
Am I explaining this well?
I think that makes sense. Yeah, the pocket is basically sitting towards your shoulder.
Right. So one of the reasons, aside from just loving the way a puck flushes into a 580-degree glove, it feels so good, in my opinion, compared to a 590 or 600. The main reason I like the 580 is for that reason, because, as you know, I struggle to put the tool in my toolbox of just doing what we call a chicken wing, which is essentially just making almost like an arm shoulder shrug save for a puck that's coming near your shoulder.
Yeah, we call it a chicken wing because it's hard to move your hand in time to catch a puck that's coming right next to your shoulder in the bend of your arm. That's from like the hash marks or below, or maybe just a little bit above the hash marks. But if it's from the outside, you have time to catch the puck there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It makes it easy. Right. More often than not, it doesn't matter if you have a 600 or a 580, if it's coming towards that part of your body, or really any glove save. If it's coming from far out enough, you could be wearing a baseball bat.
Yeah, you'll catch it.
Yeah. Okay, now the biggest con, which this is where the conversation was sparked, was because I was beating Garrett low glove. And I noticed this with my true glove when I switched back to 580 from my 600 or from my 590 Bauer.
Yep.
It makes catching a puck just above your pad difficult.
Yep.
Because the pocket of the glove is going upwards instead of a 600 that goes sideways.
Right. So it's easier to snag the puck that's just above your pad.
Right. You have to turn your wrist less with a 600 to catch a low puck than you do with a 580.
Okay. Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And we already sit with our wrist pretty horizontal, so you might not have to turn yours as much as others. But still, it's difficult. Do you know any goalies right now that are using the 580 off the top of your head versus the 600, just so we can demonstrate or make an example?
The first two that come to my mind are Mike Smith and Roberto Luongo. So they're not playing.
They
right
always use. Yeah, they both use the 580s. I think Bob might. Lotzi now uses a 580. I use a 600.
Yes. So, anyways, that's kind of the 580. I'll let you talk a little bit about the 600. I feel like after saying all this, everyone's gonna be like, "Why don't you just use a 590?"
That's a good point.
But it's all personal preference. Like for me,
it's personal preference. But I do want to make a case on why I would always use a 600.
Okay, I'm gonna let you do that.
But I use a 600.
Okay, I'm gonna close out my 580.
Okay, close out your 580.
It's still worth it for me because I don't necessarily chicken wing very well to have the 580 pocket going towards my shoulder.
I think you've gotten a lot better at it, though.
I have, but it's still something that I don't always do, and I do let in more goals than I'd like in that spot. I don't know if I can't even say prior to my 580 because since I've had my 580, I haven't played one game. So
right, you don't know yet.
I don't know yet, but
in practice, you look good.
Yeah, I think it's been snagging some pucks in practice that are going in that shoulder neck area.
Okay.
Now, what I will say is when I switched to that 580, it was just like Garrett experienced, very difficult at first, to the point where I was like, what is going on? I cannot catch a puck above my pad. And then it clicked in my brain one day, oh, it's
because you're used to the pocket being there, but now that you have a different glove, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was literally going underneath my glove.
But I do have another question for you that's also very important. How does it feel handling a puck?
Better.
Okay.
It, for me, feels like the shaft of my stick goes. It just fits better in the glove of the 580. I forgot. I'm happy you brought that up because I would have forgotten about that.
That's also very important.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I want to talk about the 600, and I want to make a case for the 600 on why I think the 600 is better.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I have in my repertoire, I have chicken wing.
Yes.
I use it a lot more because I've never used a 580 glove. I've always used a 600. And that goes back to in juniors, my goalie coach, who was Finnish, said that I should order the glove with that angle on it because that's just like the one that I was currently using. So I did.
Okay.
And I've stuck with it ever since because now I'm just so used to that position of the pocket that I catch pucks with it, and it's just second nature. And I haven't wanted to change that.
Right.
Okay. So let me start to make a little bit of a case of the 600.
Okay.
And I think you know the answer to some of these questions, so you might have to help me out.
Okay.
We've run the numbers. We looked at, so what we did was, I don't know how to start with this, but let's just start with a simple question. Where are most goals scored in the net?
The lower portion of the net?
The lower portion of the net, lower three quarters.
Lower three quarters.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that all the time. Barely any goals are scored in the top quarter of the net. Okay. So we ran the numbers last year. We took Bob's last 10 games, which would have been Vegas and Carolina, and we looked at every single shot on goal, where it hit the net, and where all the goals went in on him, right? And there were something like 34 goals scored in the last 10 games, 36, I think. And if you took away all the ones that were scored in the lower three quarters of the net, do you remember how many he gave up?
No.
He gave up 6 goals out of 34 if he stopped everything in the lower three quarters of the net, because pucks are more likely to hit the lower three quarters of the net.
Right.
So if he only gave up 6 goals on those, it was like 364 shots, he would have had a .983 save percentage.
Is that good?
Does anybody have that? No. So if a puck goes up next to your shoulder, where is it going in the net?
Crossbar.
Yeah, top 3 quarters. If it's going barely over your pad, where's it going in the net?
I now see where you're going with this. If it's going over your pad, where's it going in the net?
Yeah.
The lower 3 quarters.
Right. So I've always thought I want to be able to make a save in the lower 3 quarters of the net all the time. And if they score, they have to score up under the bar, because if we only gave up goals up under the bar based on Bob's numbers from last year in the playoffs, in those last 10 games he played, we would give up 6 goals on like 364 shots.
You'd have a .983 save percentage.
Yeah, you'd have a .983.
That's a pretty good argument.
So just looking at the numbers, that's one thing I would say.
Okay.
If you just look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Most pucks hit the middle of the net in the bottom 3 quarters of the net.
Yeah.
You could even make the case for bottom half of the net because a lot of the shots are on the ice.
You can
Because
make a-
when players are under pressure, they just shoot it on the ice or they whack it on the ice.
I would like to argue the bottom third of the net.
Bottom third of the net, yeah. Yeah, you could. You could. We got to show our net chart one of these times. But
Yeah.
we did the numbers. We ran the numbers. So our whole philosophy has been we want to be really good at taking away the bottom 3/4 of the net.
Yeah.
We always say if the only goals we give up all year are bar down, we're going to have a pretty good season.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so question for you.
Okay.
See, this is a tough question to ask you because it's all you know. But you asked me about the 580 with puck handling.
Yeah, now I've never used a 580 though, disclaimer.
Right, but it's relative for you to ask me because I've used the 590,
I know
580.
you've used both, yeah.
I've probably used a 600 at some point. It's been a while.
Right. I feel good with my 600 with puck handling. I feel okay with it.
Yeah. I think what I would like to know, if there's any goalie that has used a 580 and or a 590 and or a 600, which glove they find it easier to play the puck with.
Which one's the best? Yeah.
Just for puck handling, because
Yeah.
I am going to argue, in my opinion, the 580 is the best.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I can
'cause
see that.
obviously, for those who don't know, when goalies handle the puck more often than not, especially if they're trying to make a hard pass or a hard shot, our bottom hand, our glove hand, is actually flipped upwards
On top of the stick, basically.
as opposed to our fingers point up as opposed to a player whose fingers are kind of
you kind of push the puck.
or maybe thumb up is a better way of explaining it.
Yeah,
than-
I would
as
say
opposed to
versus
down.
thumb down. Either way, Marty Brodeur and Carey Price were really good with the thumb down, but Carey was
Right.
good with both. So
But
it
did
doesn't count.
Carey rifle pucks thumb down, or was he just
I don't
making
think
little
he
dink
did.
passes?
I think when he made rifle pucks, he used thumb up.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. So I find that the shaft of my stick just fits in that the way the glove is shaped better with a 580. I feel like I have more control of the
puck.
stick, and and then in turn the puck. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I guess I would think of it in terms of what do I actually need to be able to do with a puck, and am I able to do it?
Yeah.
And that is make flat 10-foot passes for the most part.
Yeah.
And I can do that, or rim it hard, and I can do that, or make the occasional stretch pass.
So don't fix it if it ain't broken.
I'm saying if it feels better, but you can still do everything you need to do, then you don't need to. Then it comes back to puck stopping.
Right. So in your experience, there's really not a con to the 600 except for the fact that you're not going to be if you're not good at doing the chicken wing, you're going to have to rotate your wrist more than a 580 theoretically
To catch a puck, yeah. But I mean, it depends on where it's coming from. So hash marks, you're not going to really catch a puck. You're just trying to fight it off because that's a grade A shot from in tight.
See, those are the ones that I get burnt on.
Yes, but at least it's shelf.
We're talking about if a puck's going shelf.
Right. Which is if they go shelf from the hash marks by themselves, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, we can live with that.
Maybe they should make different degrees of blockers too. Think about that.
I don't know. That would be wild.
Like for me, since I don't do a chicken wing very well compared to you, should my blocker
You want your
be
blocker
more,
pointed towards your head?
Should the top? Yeah.
What would the angle be like on that for a punch? Because that's the other question you have to ask yourself.
I don't know. I mean, so I'm saying my blocker would be instead of just being along my forearm.
Yeah,
right?
it would be angled towards your head.
Yeah, it would sit like this. So if I was just making
That would be wild.
That would be wild. Illegal maybe? No, it shouldn't be, right?
I mean, it's the same size blocker,
Yeah.
but now it'd be harder to get pucks over your pad.
What?
Because it's angled away from your pad. And over the blocker, or over the pad under the blocker is one of the most dangerous shots in hockey.
Yeah. What if they made a blocker that was completely horizontal compared to what it is?
That'd be interesting too.
That'd be a waffle board.
Yeah. I wonder if it'd get caught on your pad though.
Why?
Because it's a rectangle like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you try to put it, it just gets stuck on your pad here by your hip.
Yeah, it probably would. But the reason why I said that was because imagine. No, I think it would be. I think it'd be useless. I think it'd be harder. I was going to say for making like cross ice, like just over the pad saves.
And sticking it inside the post in your RVH would be weird.
But would it be better?
I don't think so. I like how the vertical sits when you're in your RVH because it just seals it.
I don't know why this is just making me laugh a little bit. It's just a funny thought. All right, let's move on.
All right. So at the end of the day, we've gone through the pros and cons.
Yeah.
I'd say the other con of the 600 is maybe it's easier to get burnt up top.
Yeah. I personally think that a 600 is easier to get burnt up top, and a 580 is easier to get burnt down low.
But what we always say, if we want to get burnt in one spot,
It's high.
it's up top.
It's bar in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the 580.
Tuca's a 600 guy.
But the reason why
And
I
Terry.
use the 580 is because I don't chicken wing as well.
Right.
So I sacrifice that possibility of having to rotate my wrist more for a lower save so that I can make an up top save.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to, I don't know.
But again, more shots are lower.
I want you to try a 580.
I might have to put one on just to see for the just to run an experiment.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one. You could try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to hurt anybody.
No, it won't hurt anybody. We'll
Although
see.
you don't have skates right now, so
Correct.
so you can't go. You can't even wear skates. You can't even.
No,
you can't
correct.
put your pads on.
My skates were damaged before the season started. I sent that into True. They've done such a wonderful job with them that they're just now fixing them after the season's over instead of helping me replace them during the season.
Yeah, I know you're
So
pretty pumped about
That's
that.
all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. We just leave that one at that, like that
That's
for
it.
now.
That's all I'm leaving it.
All right. Question number 2 coming in from Ian Morrow, friend of ours, Bulls fan, great dude.
Yep.
Speaking of equipment brands,
Yeah.
Ian's question is, and this is a paraphrase. Why does Hayden use Vaughn and Austin use True?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna let you take this one first. Why do you use Vaughn, Hayden?
Well, coming up through juniors, I used to use Reebok because in the league I played in, you had to use Reebok. That's what they would buy you.
What league was that?
At that time, it was the USHL.
You had to use Reebok in the USHL and
You could cover up brands. But as far as them buying you pads, which I wanted, it was Reebok. So I had the Reebok P4s. Okay. Then heading into college, I was going to use the Reebok P4s. But over the course of the summer, I got to try a set of Vaughn samples, which were Andre Pavlik's pads, the sample pads I used.
Oh, yeah.
And they were just so light and moved so well and sealed the ice so well. I was like, I got to use these.
Sold.
So going into college, I had them order me Vaughns, and it's been that way ever since. And Vaughn has been unbelievable with customer service. They've been great.
Yeah, I feel like they're known for that.
Yeah, they've actually done a really awesome job.
And just like the quality of the pads themselves too, they're very good.
Yeah. Oh, the quality. Yeah, they last forever. They're handmade. So I have nothing bad to say. But they've just done such a great job. They treat people really well. They almost match True's customer service, but not quite.
All right, so yeah, for me, I use True Goalie.
So why
pads.
do you use True?
I am new to the True family.
You are, yeah. You used to be a Bauer guy.
I used to be a lot of things.
Actually, you had Reebok. You had Vaughns.
I've been all over the place.
You had Vaughns and Reeboks.
Yeah.
And Bauers.
I grew up a Vaughn kid.
Yeah.
Up until my second year of junior. So my first year of junior, I wore Vaughns. Then I went to Reebok, and one of the reasons why I did that was on my junior team in Everett, the other goalie, he was a veteran, Kent Simpson. He's drafted to Chicago Blackhawks, by the way, so you should recognize the name. Second round pick. Anyways, he had Reeboks, and he would rip me for my Vaughns. He just thought, he just hated it.
Why?
He thought they looked dust. He thought they were dust. He just didn't like them. Okay, so I'm
He's
16
never
years
tried
old, and this is he's like my role model in a sense,
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So he hooked me up with the Reebok rep, who, give him credit, don't remember his name. I think he was a French guy.
Okay.
Sent me a brand new set of Reebok pads and gloves.
That's awesome.
It was sick. So by the end of my 16-year-old season, I went home with fresh pair custom Reeboks. Wore them all summer. Loved them. They sealed the ice so good. I don't remember which ones they were. It was in like 2011, 2012.
I think you had P4s too.
Yeah.
Based on the pictures I've seen of you, I think you had P4s.
Yeah. Anyways, so I wore those Reeboks up throughout the rest of my junior career. I didn't go back to Vaughan until my first year pro. So I wore Reeboks for 4 years, went to Vaughan. The original question was, why do I use True? I had no problems with
good.
Yeah, I had no problems with either of my Vaughan pads, whether it was first year junior or first year pro. I had no problem with my Reebok pads that I remember. I remember them lasting long. The Reeboks.
Reeboks, yeah, I feel like they're okay with.
They were built like they were built very good.
I played 2 seasons with Reebok pads.
Yeah,
with the same pads,
which are now CCM, by the way, right?
Yes, they're CCM.
Well, actually,
no,
they're True.
Yeah,
because I always forget how to pronounce the name.
Lefebvre.
I always
branched off. He was the one. He was the mind behind Reebok pads originally. Then CCM took over, and they had a Reebok and a CCM line. Then his contract or deal, whatever it was with CCM Reebok ended, and he branched out to make his own pad, which was basically a CCM Reebok, and goalies were using that. And then True bought his business, and now True is the old Lefebvre. Or is the Lefebvre line.
Dang. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's it.
A little free history lesson, little education.
That's what happened, yeah.
On goalie pads. Anyway, so then I wore my first year of pro, I wore Vaughan. Then I switched to Bauer because, long story short, again, I was given a pair of Bauer pads at a Net 360 camp after my first year pro. What?
Keep going.
Okay, I want to know what that sigh was about. And then I ended up wearing Bauer's for, I don't know, 7 years, 6 years.
That's a long time.
I don't know.
And they treated you pretty well, didn't they?
They treated me very well. So the rep that gave me my first set of Bauer's, they were just like a demo all white set. I wore them my second year pro throughout the whole year. They lasted great. Yeah. That first set lasted great.
Yeah.
Henry Breslin was my rep. Still talk to him every once in a while. Great guy.
Yep.
He took care of me. He hooked me up pretty good. Some of these reps, like especially the pro reps that deal with a lot of ECHL guys, understand
what you're going through.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't even know what Brez would like me to say, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
So, anyways, now I'm in True.
Yeah, and why'd you make that switch?
Well, okay. This is where I don't want to be too nasty, but I know you're going to do it.
I haven't said anything.
No, but he will. I ended up switching to True because the last 2 sets of Bauer pads I had, to be blunt, got holes put in the front face of them.
Yeah, and we have one of those here. Yes. We'll get to that in a minute.
Now, here's the reason why. Actually, I'm not even going to say that.
Okay.
So more or less, that's why I decided to switch to True. Anyway, I was also influenced because also our EQ was like, man, we keep getting you these pads and they break down and whatever.
Yep.
But I was stubborn with Bauer because I, to this day, love the feel of a fresh set of Bauers.
Yes, we always say the Bauer pads, if you could get new pads every month, they'd be awesome pads.
They're the best. In my opinion, they're the lightest. They seal the ice the best. They slide the best. They're phenomenal pads. Mm-hmm. I highly recommend them to anyone who doesn't skate 5 to 10 times a week.
When they're new.
Yes.
They're great pads.
Oh, they're unbelievable. Well, even when they were old, they were sliding great.
Yeah, but the durability was wearing down.
The durability was the issue.
Yeah.
So, anyways, again, long story short, that kind of led to me switching to True. I heard a lot of good things about True. We all see all the NHL goalies wearing True.
Yep.
So I just decided to make the switch. I haven't worn them in a game yet because I didn't get them until...
when did you get them? My pads actually came in.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were backlogged. Is that the right term for that?
I don't know. I know I ordered my pads and 6 weeks later they were there.
Yeah, I think mine took...
6 months?
No, close. 5, I think.
5 months, yeah.
Yeah, it was a long wait, which I ended up
Yours took almost as many months as mine took weeks.
I know.
How about that?
Yeah, how about that? But anyways, I've worn them in practice. I had hip surgery and then I wasn't able to wear them. I didn't get to play in a game with them yet, but I did wear them for about 2 months in practice, and they are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I wish I got with the True Pads was the weave on the inside, like you get with your Vons.
Yeah.
That was user error on my part, because I find that, when the ice it gets like fresh ice gets sticky.
Yep.
And it's hard to slide.
Yeah.
It's like very hard to slide compared to my Bowers. It's
Really?
very difficult. So I wish I got weave.
That's why goalies scrape up the crease, by the way. I know you guys see like the goalie dances, they call it, but the reason goalies scrape up the crease is because when you have fresh ice, if it's really fresh and it's dried, it's hard to slide on.
Yeah.
So when you put some snow on it, it makes it a lot more slick and it's easier to slide.
Yeah. It's a good little tidbit. So I love my True Pads. They've held up really well. I've only used them for 2 months. I like the design on the front of them too. They're probably my favorite design.
I think your design is awesome.
Yeah.
How does the butterfly feel in them?
Great.
Like the balance and everything feels good?
Balance feels good. The 5-hole seals nicely, you know?
Yeah.
Like I do wear, like, some would argue that my pads are big, like tall.
Really?
Yeah, but I like it that way. I think I have like kind of a wide butterfly or a wide stance, and when I drop down, it just seals nicely.
And the disadvantage of tall pads is that sometimes they can get caught on each other when you're moving around up top, or when you're going down and the 5-hole can actually just be open.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the disadvantage of tall pads.
Yeah, especially when they're stiff.
That's
the big thing. If I could go back and order my pads, I'd probably get one more break in them. I think I have one internal break, like they're extra stiff. It's basically Aiden Hill's pads.
Yeah.
Or Bobrovsky's.
Bob's
as
pads.
you pointed out.
Yeah, I did point that out. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's sweet.
So yeah, I don't really have much to say about the True Pads yet, because I haven't worn them in a game. But so far so good. Took a while to get in, but that's why I'm in them.
Because they're good. Well, we know they're quality pads.
Yeah, because they're made by
Lefebvre.
Who is
true, but I don't know what happens when they bought him. When they bought his company, I don't know what that changed.
Well, I would assume if his name's on it, says made by or created by Lefebvre.
On the True Pads, it does.
Yeah, on the inside of my pad.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So it better be.
That's right. Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Very
if
cool.
it ain't, I'm gonna be like not happy about
You were
it.
deceived.
Yeah. What do they call that? False advertising?
I guess. Yeah.
But it's on there, so let's just assume that it's made by Lefebvre.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think you're safe.
Okay.
I think we got to go back to the Bauer pads though and their durability real quick, because we want to talk about. He's saying that Bauer is like the best feeling pad he's ever worn right off the bat.
They are.
Which when you're in the NHL and you get new pads every 4 weeks, I think Bauer is a great pad.
Yeah.
But I had to set this aside because I knew we were going to talk about this. So let me show everybody. You may not be able to see it. I'm getting a little fired up right now. You may not be able to see it if you're just listening to this, but let me show everybody why Austin isn't in Bauer pads anymore. Let's see. I have the pad here.
Should I get a drum roll?
Exhibit A. Look at this. So I'm holding a leg pad across my chest right now. That's how committed we are.
See it. Let me make sure they can see it.
I think they can see.
Yeah, they can see it.
All right, we're look at this. This is what happens to Bauer pads after you wear them for 2.5 weeks. Look at that hole. Look at that. Can you see that hole there next to the boot? There was a puck that went in that.
During a warm-up.
We're in pregame warm-ups. Austin comes up to me. I'm backing up. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. Whatever. Laughing with the boys because I'm not playing. Austin comes up to me and goes, "Stu, you might be in tonight." I'm like, "What do you mean I might be in tonight? You look fine." He's like, "I just had a puck go through my leg pad, man."
Yes.
He's like, "I don't know if these are usable."
I didn't. Stevie Alvo had to dislodge the puck from my pad.
Yeah, and this happened two Bauer sets in a row. Not just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this happened 2 Bauer sets in a row. So the last thing I want out of a pad is to be like, I'm playing, and then I'm in warm-ups. I get a shot taken the wrong way, and now I'm like, I don't know if I can play tonight.
Yeah. It was longer than 2.5 weeks, by the way.
It was. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. I'm over-exaggerating, but you get my point.
Because you're pissed. You get hot about this topic, and you're not wrong.
True, I believe, are handmade, and so are Vaughn's.
Yes, from what I understand,
Bauer's are not.
And Brian's, I believe, too.
And Brian's are, too. I used to wear Brian's growing up. I love Brian's. But Bauer is not.
No, I mean, flip that pad over. Flip that pad over. There should be a... Is there a tag on it? There was a tag. There used to be a tag on here, and I think it's made in, like, Thailand.
Yeah, it's like, Thailand or Taiwan.
I think it's Thailand. Which I don't know what that means exactly.
We can look that up.
Like, there's no machine that just spits out a goalie pad, right? They have
yeah,
to.
but they're not hand stitched.
Right.
Whereas Vaughn's are hand stitched.
Okay, so let me ask you this then, because I've wondered this. What makes a hand stitch pad? And you might not know the answer. What makes a hand stitch pad better than a machine stitched pad?
I don't know, but the fact that they're willing to hand stitch it already tells me that they're worried about, or they're more concerned with quality.
Right. So you think,
as a company,
and I agree. Now, do you think when a machine is sewing these pads or stitching these pads, don't you think there's someone like looking at them once it gets spit out for final review?
Yeah, and I'm sure it looks good, you know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's going to last.
Maybe it's like the materials of whatever they're using to sew it.
I mean, look at this. That is a hole. That's a gaping hole. That's a gaping hole to the back of your pad. I'm surprised he didn't take one off the shin when this hit his boot.
I don't think this is going to be part of the Bauer marketing campaign.
Well, I'm not paid by Bauer or anybody.
No, I'm just by anybody.
Trying to give everybody honest reviews that I've seen.
Yeah, and the people appreciate that.
They do, and you know what? And I think if Bauer sees that by the grace of God, then I think that they'll know that they need maybe to up their quality a little. It's just customer feedback.
Yeah,
That's
maybe they'll send you a thank you letter.
It's customer feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so to sum up that, I mean, this isn't even the question, but it kind of just led to this.
Well, yeah.
The Vaughn's, good quality, good customer service.
Great quality, great customer service, last a long time, hand-stitched.
Bauer's.
Feel good.
Bauer's, fantastic customer service.
Mm-hmm.
Great pad, breaks down.
Poor quality.
Yeah. True, to be determined. So far, so good.
I think they're with the Lefebvre. I think they're really probably a really good leg pad, and players and a lot of goalies have switched into them from other brands like Vaughn and whatnot.
CCM, a lot of them have switched. There's not many guys left in CCMs, man.
Nope.
Dustin Wolf, Thatcher Demko,
Dustin Wolf, yeah.
Markey.
Markey's a CCM.
Or did he go True?
Stuart Skinner.
Are you CCM?
Yeah.
Do you have to wear CCM if you play in Western Canada?
No, but the thing with the NHL guys is I think it also depends on which brand is going to pay you. They ain't wearing those for free.
So the Western Canadian CCM rep deserves a raise.
Yeah.
He is doing things right.
Like you and I, when we order pads, we're thinking, okay, how much am I going to have to pay for these, and how long are they going to last? They're thinking, how much am I going to get paid to wear these pads? First of all,
right? Yeah. Who's going to stroke the biggest check?
You're telling me Andre Vasilevsky's in Bauer's for free?
Well,
no way.
Think about all the NHL demo pads that we've seen from reps either sending them to us or other people wearing them.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So think about how many sets of gear and gloves or pads and gloves an NHL goalie sees per year. It's got to be double digits.
Gloves and sets of pads?
I'm talking literally just like True sending Juicy Sorrows a set of pads being like, can you touch these and look at them, please?
Yeah.
And Juice might just be like, yeah, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
Wait, he wears True. That was a bad example.
He wears True.
But you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You know? I mean, I didn't think about the payment thing until I was talking with another goalie that's he's an American League goalie, and I was like, he was like asking me, so how do you like Vaughn? I'm like, they're good. I was like, how'd you start using CCM? He's like, well, they got this and this, and then that was kind of where the conversation ended, and he's a humble guy.
Yeah. So
then I was like, I was talking with him about why he uses CCM, and then another buddy's like, well, it's probably because he also gets paid to wear CCM. So did he mention that? And I said, no, he forgot. He didn't put that in there.
Because he's a good dude.
Right, because he's a good dude. So I was like, okay, so now I also got to think about that when it comes to leg pads.
He finds out that you had to pay for yours, and he's like, ooh,
what do you mean?
I'm not even going to mention what I got paid to wear these.
I'm not even going to mention the check that was cut for me when I first put these things on.
He finds out what you make a week in the league that we play in, and that you pay for your pads.
Yeah, he finds out what I make in a year, and it's like, oh, that was half my pads check.
Okay, are we good?
It is what it is, man.
Are we good on gear?
Yeah,
we're on a tight schedule.
Yeah, chest protector and stuff we have to get into a different time.
Okay, just briefly.
But for gear, I was in Buffalo this last week, and I was coaching a goalie that had all brown stuff.
Ooh, how'd that look?
Well, first of all, as far as nostalgia goes, great.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't seen a set of brown pads in forever. And he was telling me, yeah, if you want handmade custom stuff, you got to call John, which is John Brown, which is the guy who's in charge of Brown.
Okay, I was going to say you should clarify that brown doesn't mean the color.
No,
But
Brown is a brand. But I just saw, right after, first of all, the blocker was massive.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, yeah, this stuff doesn't meet NHL specs. I was like, I know it doesn't.
No shit.
That blocker is like the size of a frying pan. So then it's like the size of a grill you make pancakes on in the morning. So then, but then I saw this week that I guess John Brown just is retiring from making equipment.
Really?
Apparently, yeah.
Tristan, a goalie we work with, Tristan literally yesterday just for the first time wore a brand new brown chesty.
Yeah.
It looks sick.
But that was from, if he ordered that a month ago, John Brown was still making equipment.
Yeah. The parent was saying that it was literally like 64 emails back and forth to get this chesty mint.
That's very cool because they get whatever you want. And a lot of NHL goalies, I don't know if they still do, but even until like up to a few years ago, had brown chesties, chest protectors.
Yeah. I've heard they're great.
A lot of them.
I've never worn one.
Some of them still use the brown specs just in a different brand.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Brown gets credit for that.
Are we talking about chesties now?
No.
Okay.
No, we're moving on. I just wanted to point that out. So
that is cool.
If you're looking to get Brown equipment, just check me on that.
So
I'm pretty sure he's done.
That sucks. That sucks. I hate hearing that. But I wish in a situation like that, where obviously like his company's, it's obviously well known. Like we both know what it is.
Yeah.
But they're not huge.
No, and I don't think they've ever wanted to be a huge retailer. I think they wanted to stick to quality and custom.
Yeah. But it just sucks to hear that they're
And I'm sure he's made a good
shop.
living making chest protectors.
Yeah, I hope
100%.
so. I hope he did. Okay, let's switch gears entirely here. And I think we should make this brief.
Okay.
But we probably
That's
won't. Actually, we have to. Just a quick, any opinion or any summary on the results of the Western Conference Final, maybe specifically Game 6, Stuart Skinner, and, of course, McDavid Draisaitl.
Well, I didn't get to watch a lot of these games because I was at work.
Right.
But what I will say is we were talking about we had all the fans in the media chirping Stuart Skinner about that goal he gave up last week, and then he gave up like 2 goals early in the next game, and they won 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah, Game 5 and 6, he didn't let in any more than 1 goal.
Yeah, he gave up 1 goal in Games 5 and 6. And what about, did they go to 7? No, it was 6 games.
6 games.
Yeah, so
he shut the door, man.
Yeah, so they won the last 2 in a row. After everybody was giving him crap about that 1 goal and how he's losing them the series.
Game 6, 34 shots, 1 goal
1 goal against. They outshot him 34-10. And Stuart Skinner won the game.
To take his team to the Stanley Cup Final.
To go to the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, so if you're ripping him on Twitter, taste that.
But I want to give, okay, so whatever. He's not our favorite goalie. And other goalies that I've talked to, even men's league goalies, he's not their favorite goalie either. But what I have to say is his resiliency, to give up that goal, and then I think to start the next game, and he gave up 2 right away in the first 5 minutes. All of Edmonton, you look on TV, all their fans were saying, pull him, put Calvin Pickard in, which Calvin Pickard's definitely a good goalie. This is nothing against, this is 100% for Stuart Skinner. Yep. I'm not saying anything against Calvin Pickard. But then the fans are freaking out, you should pull Skinner. They left him in there. He won that game. They came back from down 2. I don't remember which game that was. Might have been that. Not sure which game that was. When everybody was saying pull him, put Pickard in. It was the game after he gave up that goal.
Yeah, I think it was game 4 here.
Okay,
because you said he let in 2 goals in the first, right?
Yeah, but
3 in the second.
Yeah, that was when that was when the Stars came back. Then the next game, like the Oilers came back. What game is that?
The game the Oilers came back.
Game 4, I think.
This is game 4, isn't it? Oh no, yeah, this is.
That's game 3.
So.
Yep.
This one?
Yep. So look at when the Stars scored.
Yep. 2 in the first.
Yeah, so they scored 2 right away. They're down 2-0. Now the Oilers score 2 and try to come back, and they do come back, and they win this game 5-2. So after giving up that goal, which everyone said was a bad goal, even though we talked about how it's a harder situation than it looks. Then he gave up 2 in the first 5 minutes of the next game, or first 10 minutes.
First 5.5.
First 5.5. All of Edmonton in the stands is calling for him to be pulled. He gives up no more goals that game. He gives up 1 the next 2 games.
And takes his team to the Stanley Cup
And takes
Final.
his team to the Stanley Cup Finals. So
think about the pressure on that, man.
Right.
Think about being Stuart Skinner. He knows. He knows. Like,
yeah,
he's getting ripped.
You give up 2 goals right away. It's already in your head that, could already be in your head that now everyone's looking at me.
Right, which they were.
Last game, which they were.
Then
you give up 2 right away. It's so easy to fall apart after that.
But then he doesn't let in another goal the entire game.
Doesn't give up another goal the entire game and gives up 1 the next 2 games.
I was thinking about you, actually, because I don't know, for Game 6, I don't remember what the date was, but we weren't watching it together.
No, I was in Buffalo.
Okay, so I was watching this game.
Yeah.
And I was looking at him, man. He looked like a man possessed.
Yeah.
He looked like he was. It's almost like he said, "You know what? Screw it." Like everyone. It's like after he let in those 2 goals in Game 4.
Yeah.
He just flipped a switch and he's like, "Screw everybody."
Yeah.
And I could just see it. They would zoom in on his face. His eye, you could tell by his eyes. He was just dialed in.
Yeah.
The way he was playing with more energy. You could tell he was playing with his heart.
Yep.
And he was playing with confidence.
Yeah.
Which
is hard to do after what he's been through in this series.
Right.
And frankly, the playoffs with everybody tripping.
Almost. I think it's incredible.
So credit to him. Yeah.
Yes.
Credit to him 100%.
I had to get that off my chest because it just clicked to my brain.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's easy, it's tough. It's easy for fans to be like, "Oh, take him out of there." And it's like, the credit to the Oilers, like, no, we're sticking with him. He's he's been here the last couple of years. He's done a great job. He's been an all-star. We're not just gonna lose confidence in him just because he gives up a couple goals.
Where's he from? He's from Edmonton, isn't he? I bet you.
I think he's from the Edmonton area. He's a Dub guy, is he?
Yes, he is. Shout out to the Western League.
He's also only 25, which is not a goalie's prime.
If he's from Edmonton, that just makes... He is from Edmonton, dude.
Yeah.
Think about this kid grew up watching the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
He's 25 years old.
Yep.
He is getting chewed by Oilers Nation, which he probably has been a part of his whole life, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And he is able to get the job done and let in 2 goals in the last 2 games and take his team to the finals.
And 2 goals in the last, 120 plus another 55 in the last 175 minutes of hockey.
Yes.
2 goals.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we talking about?
Good for him, man. Shout out to him.
Good for him. Yeah. You can't in through the course of a series, things are going to go well and things aren't going to go well. That's why it's a series. You can't just, and as a goalie, you can't have the mentality either of, things just aren't going well for me, I'm going to fold the tent.
Right.
No. If he just folded the tent, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
No, we'd be breaking down a preview. Actually, we'd be saying, the Oilers didn't have it. Stu, you were right. The Stars are in the finals. But we're not saying that, and I want you to carry into that now. The Oilers beat a team that you and I both agreed, which I still think this way, was a team that played the right way.
Yep. Good coaching.
Good coaching. They had skill.
Good goaltending.
They had the goaltending.
Yeah.
They lose in 6 to a team that we thought have holes in their game.
Still do.
I don't know what the reason why I'm going to direct this over to you is because I don't know. Did the skill of McDavid and Draisaitl and the man possessed in Stuart Skinner was it just too much for the Stars, even though they play what we think is the right way?
I think that's part of it. I think they kind of lost their, I don't know what you want to call it, their flow midway through the series.
Yeah.
And that just allowed for Edmonton to take it. But the Panthers, I think, are going to be a much different test.
I think the Panthers...
that Eastern Conference is crazy.
Do you want to just roll right into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can go really quick.
I'm going to start it off, and I want to hear yours right after mine.
Okay.
I'm going to say my Stanley Cup final prediction.
Okay.
Panthers I'm going back and forth between 5 and 6. I'm going to say Panthers in 6.
Okay.
I think the Oilers are going to win one at home.
Steal one.
Yeah, go down 0-2, probably win game 3, lose game 4.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think Panthers, I luckily enough had them in my bracket before the playoffs started as the Cup winners.
Mm-hmm.
Been fortunate through that. But I just love the way the Panthers play. Like, they're going to be in McDavid and Draisaitl's face all night. Like, Matthew Tkachuk is going to hit them every chance he gets.
Dude,
Aaron Ekblad is going to hit them every chance he gets.
Think about Barkov. Think about Barkov on McDavid.
Barkov is impossible to play. He's top 5 center in the NHL.
He's a 2-time Selke. Is Selke for defensive forward or is it for 2-time winner?
Yeah.
He's a 96.
Is he only a 96?
I think.
I just like the Panthers. I like their focus. I like how they play.
And they've got the dog in them too, man.
Yeah.
Like they went to the finals last year, and
it's dangerous now that they're back. And it's hard to get back there because that's a lot of hockey.
Yeah.
You finished last June and now you're here a year later and you've basically only had 2.5 months off.
Yeah. That's a lot of hockey.
That's a lot of hockey. That's a lot of games.
I don't know. I think the way they play, this is going to sound crazy after everything we just said about Skinner, but they win the goaltending matchup pre-series.
Well, it's hard to Bob is Bob.
Bob is Bob.
I mean, he's got 2 Vezinas. It's hard to that's not a chirp to Skinner. That's just credit to Bob.
I read an article from it was on the Score app, and it was about you might have seen it. It was about the legacies that can be created from this series.
Yeah.
So they talked about how like McDavid would have a seat at the table with the greats. They
really?
talked about one of the there was a couple other. Oh, it was Barkov having a seat at the table with Bergeron.
Yeah, I think he would. Crosby and Taves won 3 cups as a center.
Right. Well, the article did say they're not saying that McDavid, if he wins a cup, is Lemieux, Gretzky, Taves, Crosby.
Skill-wise, he is.
But they said it would, to their quote, I remember it said it would at least give him a seat at the table.
Okay.
The other legacy, according to this article, is the automatic lock that if Sergei Bobrovsky wins, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. 2-time Vezina winner. All he needs is a cup.
Yeah. And he might have already been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Might be, but they're saying he's a Hall of Famer for sure, but automatic first ballot if he wins a Stanley Cup.
And just he's just wired. Like we were reading an article the other week about how he's still getting better and he's 35.
Yeah, it's
which
sick.
Is uncommon I think for goalies, you get better as you get older a lot of times.
Yeah, because so much of the game is mental and
reading.
Reads.
Yeah, mental and reading it. Yeah. So, but the fact that he's still getting better at 35 and still putting in the work says something about him.
That's why we're going to play till we're 40.
That's the most annoying. That's the most annoying part about thinking of retirement. It's like, oh, I'm still getting better.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
If your body can handle it.
Yeah, mine's holding up great. Dude, great.
Yeah.
Yours is fine. You're a machine, bro. You just won't admit it. I'll just admit it for you. You're a machine.
I mean, I've felt okay.
I see the weights you lift every morning.
Not the last couple.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I've been solo at the gym.
Yeah.
Although I didn't tell you this, I slept in this morning.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't wake up till 6. Not by choice.
And you went to the gym at 6:30?
No. Then I went to the gym at 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, that's a lie.
Sleeping
I went
late.
to the gym at 9:30. But I had something at 8, that's why.
Okay, there you go. That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, slept in this morning. You weren't there to hold me accountable, and I just took advantage of it.
Right. Yeah.
The workout was great, by the way. I lifted all the weights for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Needed that.
All right. What else you got? You got anything else?
That's it. We got Panthers in the finals is my my prediction.
Panthers in 6 for me.
Could very easily end up eating my words, but yeah.
You know I've got the Oilers in my bracket making the Stanley Cup final.
Do you really?
But I have them
That's
losing,
insane.
so I don't think them winning or losing does anything for my bracket. Actually, yes, it does because we're going against each other, and you have the Panthers
It's
winning.
me versus you right now.
It's got to be because
but
I don't have the Oilers winning.
You have the Panthers winning.
I have the I have the Carolina Hurricanes winning.
Oh my God. Okay, well so basically if the Oilers win, you have to win.
Yeah, I think we'd have to look at it, but if there's any chance of me winning that bracket against you and you not taking my $10, I need the Panthers to lose. I need the Oilers to win, yeah.
Okay. Well, so basically our bracket rides on this too.
Yeah.
Let's go. People call my sports takes a little bit crazy, but I tell you what, I've been good historically with hockey brackets.
You have been, but I think it's your there's a term for it, but it's the way your brain works.
Just like analytical.
Yeah, analytical brain. You have and you respect history, like, you know what I mean?
Cap space.
Yeah, cap
and
space.
The way teams play.
Yeah.
Now fantasy football though, that's the other direction.
Yeah,
I've
we'll
gotten
work
like
on
last
that.
place the last 4 seasons.
Hey man, I'm in like 6 different leagues every year, and I think I've won 2 championships in the last 5 years. So I can't even sit here and be like, yeah, you suck.
You've won You've won more championships in the last 4 years than I have finished above last place.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you going to let me help you with your draft this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I need to. Yeah. I don't know much about NFL depth.
Yeah, I got you. I'm doing a rookie draft right now. I just drafted the Jaguars' new wide receiver in the rookie draft.
I took Najee Harris my first pick last year. My first manual pick. They changed the draft on me last second, so I missed the first 3 rounds. Then when I finally got to draft one by myself, it was Najee Harris.
Yeah, that's tough. Just for, I think, Jalen Warren, whatever his name is.
I didn't know that he wasn't good, but ESPN had him ranked higher than anybody else. So
Najee's an Alabama guy, man, and he's a brick shithouse. He's a big guy. He's a big for a running back.
Apparently, he's not a good fantasy football player.
I think he's kind of like A.J. Dillon, where he's just like break down the O line or the D line.
A.J. Dillon's great. He's serviceable as a Packers fan, but I wouldn't take him first. My first manual running back pick on my fantasy draft.
Sorry, you just sparked something in my brain. I think I might have drafted a Packers rookie running back this morning. I should remember that.
Well, we have Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon.
I did. Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah. He's the USC guy, I believe.
He's only 5'9"?
Yeah, he's a truck though. Look at his highlights. Okay. So, yeah, that's all I got for today.
All right. Sorry,
I think we got a lot done.
We did, yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And sorry for the delay, but Stewie needed the rest. He's pretty sick.
We're battling.
I'm sure next week will be delayed because I'm sitting here with Hayden now, and I'm going to be sick.
Could be. I still got fired. I mean, still managed to get fired up today, though.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone appreciates you getting out of bed for this one.
Okay. Yeah. Hey. Do what I can.
Enjoy work the rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
See you, everyone.
Later. This episode is brought to you by Vita Era Hydration. Vita Era addresses 2 critical issues for a healthy lifestyle. First, throughout your day, you lose essential vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes. Whether you're taking a walk, working out, or engaging in any energy-intensive activity, Vita Era replenishes these nutrients without the processed sugars and artificial additives like sucralose or aspartame found in many hydration products. Instead, Vita Era uses stevia, one of the healthiest natural sweeteners, to provide a refreshing taste. Second, with 60 to 70% of our bodies made up of water and 75% of people chronically dehydrated, it's showing that we're not drinking enough water. As an additive to water, Vita Era encourages you to increase your water intake. Vita Era is a 3-in-1 solution. It provides your everyday essential vitamins and minerals, green tea for enhanced performance and recovery, and electrolytes to maximize hydration efficiency. Each serving includes 500 milligrams of potassium, equivalent to the potassium content of a banana. Stay hydrated. Drink Vita Era.